Well, hello, hello. It's Friday out there. I'm going to use this microphone, see if this works better so that those of you guys can hear me. So, we've got a little thunderstorm here in Dallas, and I'm sitting out on my patio, just enjoying the rain that's coming in. It's very soothing, very easy to relax. But I wanted to just basically send out my love. You know, the weekends were a pretty tough time for me because, you know, I used to go out on the weekends with my Nard. Let me see here. So hey, so how many people do we have here? We have 2 right now, and just wanted to offer some words of encouragement out there. Hopefully you're staying no contact. Yes, it has been a while. I've been very busy, Arthur. Yeah, I missed you guys. Hey, Linda, how are you? Just good to see everybody. I've been extremely busy this week. Hey, Sandra. So, hi, Josh. Hi, Arthur. Hi, Linda. Hi, Sandy. Let's see if I can read it like this. No, it's better reading like this. So yeah, I've had a pretty interesting week. Hello, everybody. Hi, Heather. We'll add more people here. So I've had a pretty crazy week, guys, but it's been really good. I've got a lot of new things that I'm doing. I've got a lot of new business associates. You know, I didn't realize how surrounding myself with positive people can really make a huge difference. I'm not isolated anymore. And you know, when I had my other job, I was somewhat isolated, but not like I am not, but not like I was. But being around people that are real, that are genuine, is so cool. The place that I used to work at, my manager was not a genuine person, and you know, he had some personal issues going on in his life. I don't know too much about him, but I know that he was not genuine. He wasn't authentic. And when you're being authentic, when you're living your authentic self, and you have boundaries, that's the thing. I've always been honest and authentic, but I didn't have any boundaries before. I would take on other people's problems without realizing it, because that's kind of how I was trained as a kid. And now what happens is I'm able to say no. I'm able to say stop. I'm much more sure of myself because I know who I am. And there's something with it, because after all of this abuse and trying to recover from it, I kind of had to redefine like what was important to me, like who I was, journaling, and it's so liberating, guys. I mean, I just feel so good right now, and I'm able to get along a lot better in business, able to put things on, able to do things a lot better because I am more clear, I'm more sure of me, so the people that work with me or work under me are more sure of me as well. Happy Friday! So yeah, well, there's a full moon, huh? Let me show you the moon I have. So I've got a very cloudy sky right now. I don't know if you can see the rain dripping from the trees, but it's just really cool out right now. Very dark, thunderstorms. I feel like I'm in a rainforest. So hi, Teresa. Hi, Heather. So it's so much better to be hanging around cool people. Look, this place online, if you can get online here, and we can talk about, like, we could be open and honest and empathetic with other people, and we can do it here in a safe environment, that's a really key deal. That is so cool to be able to do that. So Arthur, let me see. Arthur says, I'm slowly taking control back as well. I'm practicing being myself with my college mates. Good job, man. I'm slowly going back to feeling comfortable with being just me, walking more confidently. Yep, It's something that still takes work and hard work and practice, but I'm feeling quite empowered already, and I know there's still a lot of work to do. What's cool though is the stuff I did 3 weeks ago, it's part of me now. Like it's a new habit. And that's the thing, it's just having these little incremental changes going on that I look back now, like even look at my videos like from a month ago, and it's like, wow, I can't believe I'm that much of a different person. Actually, I haven't looked at my videos, but I know if I did, that I would seem like I was a different person. The speech, the clarity, everything's more clear, everything's more about, like, I'm able to, that was one of the things is my thinking is so much more clear now. So before I would just kind of like ramble off thoughts as they came to me, but now I'm actually thinking ahead of myself so I can conduct a clear thought from start to finish. When I was living in that stress, all my thoughts were like coming, like as soon as I would have them, they would come up. Like it was reactionary, like I'd have a thought and it would come out. Now it's like I have a thought and sometimes it comes out and sometimes it just, I think about it and I think where it's going and then it comes out. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to explain that, but it's just, I have so much more clarity now, and I think a lot of it is because just knowing who I am. I'm the man. Okay, let's see. Same here, Josh, says Sandra. Finally, very successful week. Second job interview, awesome. Thursday, and court hearing with my effing company with XN boss. And it all went very well. Awesome, TGIF to you. Good Friday, good job. Yeah, it's really cool when it comes together because it's so like once you fight it and get to a new level, it's like it seems like it's sticking. Like I'm not waking up every day waiting for the other shoe to drop like I used to. I used to wake up every day, and eventually there'd be something in my day that would just screw everything up, and I feel like a loser. Like every day, but for the last 6 months, I haven't felt that way. It's like I wake up, I get up. First of all, when I wake up now, I'm thankful. Every morning I'm thankful for where I'm at. I think, for the kids, I guess you could call it prayer. But some people call it prayer and meditation. But I sit there, or I lay there, and I think about all the things that I'm grateful for. And that just keeps me going throughout the day. And the shoe doesn't drop. And I've had a couple hiccups, but they're not major like they used to be. Things before would be devastating, and now they're just things. Sandra says, never expected all these changes eight months ago. Yep, we're getting better, we're getting healthier, we're getting normal. And one thing, I mentioned this on a video I did yesterday on my personal page, but one thing that I've done is by being around people that know themselves, that are genuine. Like I've spent the last week with business associates, some friends of mine, working on a project, and they don't have the self-doubt. They don't have the what you would almost call self-depreciating humor, or I want to say self-defecating humor. That doesn't sound right. You know what defecate means? Anyways, it's that I can't think of the words of it. Maybe you guys know, but having that humor, and see, humor's a way of humor's actually a fight mechanism. So, you hear that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. One of the things people do is and some of the best comedians have the most pain. They are using a fighting reflex, which is what laughter is. Laughter is a fighting reflex. Laughter is actually very aggressive, but it's aggression that comes out, in a socially acceptable way. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I was using, I was saying that the humor, my self-depreciating humor, can't think of it, but that putting down myself, because I want to make people feel better, and if I did that, it would make them laugh, and if I make people laugh, then they like me. But what I was doing was I was setting up this constant image of myself, just like the narcissist has an image, has an illusion, has a projection of who they are. I was projecting this loser mentality onto people, and people didn't want to be around me. I mean, this guy doesn't really think much of himself, so hey, let's kind of bolt from this guy. This guy's kind of a kind of a weirdo. I feel uncomfortable around him because I was making people feel uncomfortable to be around me. They were because take these out of my ear. Yeah, I was making people uncomfortable around me without even knowing it, especially when I was saying I was sorry all the time. So I tell people, if you're saying you're sorry, stop it. Chances are you're probably saying it like 95% of the time. You never need to say you're sorry. So stop doing that first. Instead of saying you're sorry, say nothing. You don't have to say anything. So stop doing that, and then start working on at least what I did. And it's only, and nobody told me to do this, but it was just being around these normal, healthier people to just basically stop saying, oh, that's just like me, and oh, you know me, I'm always late, or whatever. Just things that are negative that actually make people feel more uncomfortable around you. Yeah, you might make them laugh, but it's not the kind of laughter that you want. I think maybe once in a while, but healthy people just don't. They're not self-deprecating. That's the word I'm looking for. Self-deprecating, not defecating. Self-deprecating. So hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, Kathy. Coming out of the fog. The fog. Coming out of the dog. Okay. Kathy says coming out of the dog. But I know she meant fog, and she corrected herself here. Getting clearer every day. Yes, the fog is coming. It does get clearer. Much more clearer. Yes, comedy is a mask for pain. Class clown. That's kind of what I mean, I've always been kind of a class clown. But back when I was younger, I actually had a stuttering problem. I stuttered for up until about the 9th grade, and it was very debilitating. I mean, I couldn't really speak very well, except in front of like a public audience. Like I would get up in front of the class and I could speak fine, but one-on-one, it was very hard. So I was kind of socially awkward, and that was part of my issues with my self-esteem. Was because of that. But so I learned to develop humor. So I would always be doing something funny. I would always imitate voices. When I imitated voices, that would also make the stuttering go away. So that was my way of compensating for making people laugh, and because if I made people laugh, if I made you laugh, then that meant you like me, and that's okay to do to a certain extent. But see, I didn't have any boundaries on it. So if I said something and I made you laugh, I'd lock that in my brain, and then the next time I saw you, I'd make you laugh again, and then I keep making you laugh until you actually would probably be like, man, this guy's weird. I don't want to be around him all the time, almost to where that's kind of what I did. I would just lock on to that because I was so desperate to have people like me. And now I don't really care that much. Okay. Self-deprecating humor. Yes. Yeah, and it's good. And that's the thing is, I just think for me, and I don't know what it is, I don't know if this is the same for you, but for me, the self-deprecating humor is just, it's a mask. It's a way to almost apologize for myself without saying, hey, I'm sorry I'm here, you may not like me, or you may not, Instead of doing that, I do it in a funny way. It would put other people at ease, but what it was also doing was it was narc meat, right? I mean, it was perfect for the narc. It was I mean, if a narc sees you like making fun of yourself, they look over there and they go, man, this is bait for me, right? You're almost attracting them when you're doing that. Because normal healthy people don't do that, and narcs aren't attracted to that. They are attracted to people that they can put down, right? So think about it. If you're putting yourself down all the time and you're around somebody that's narcissistic, what do you think they're going to think? They're going to think, wow, they're putting themselves down, so easy pickings for me, right? So comedy equals coping mechanism for many. Yep.
I'm a funny guy.
And I'm a funny guy. When I come over from the audio country, I like to be funny because I make the people on Ellis Island laugh too.
I don't know. I'm just trying to be funny. So let me read some of your thoughts here. Sadly, I've never thought that I should perhaps tone down the self-deprecating humor, that it could be making others uncomfortable. Well, here's the thing. the people that are around you now, if you have the same people that you had 5 years ago and they're like really close around you, they're used to that self-deprecating humor. And they may probably be more on the narcissistic side. So you may balance each other out. You may say, wow, we're really good friends. The moment you start changing that dynamic in that relationship, where you start to becoming more healthier, you're probably going to affect that friendship. You're going to change the dynamics in that friendship. You are, not the other person. And so they may not want to hang around you as much, because now if you're not funny about yourself, then they don't have anyone to laugh at. So you may lose some friends. Look, I think that's the hardest thing that people don't understand is they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to get healthier, but they don't want to lose their friends. But the friends you have around you, if you're unhealthy right now, I mean, I think there's a few key people that have known you like all your lives or something, and some of those may be narcs, but I think there's a few people that are an exception to the rule. But in general, a lot of the people that you associate with, that you really click with, are used to you being in an unhealthy state, and they like that. That works for them. You're unhealthy and they're healthier, or they're unhealthy too. They're unhealthy in a way that where you're more self-deprecating, they're more narcissistic. You see how that works? That's what I think anyways. So, Sarah, thank God for live. Josh couldn't have come any sooner. I'm glad you like these. I think you're talking about the Facebook Live. I really like them. I think they're really cool. I think it's a good way to really kind of a more intimate way. You know, Dana does her live streams on Wednesdays, and those were great. I mean, I really enjoyed those a lot. And I look forward to those, every Wednesday. Got my popcorn out. I put them up on, I put Dana up on Apple TV, which is, it takes what I have on my iPhone, like right here, and it puts it up on my, my big screen television. And I just watch it like I would a movie or something. In fact, guys, I don't even watch TV. I was driving around the other day and I saw some flags at half staff, and I was like, oh crud, did something bad happen? In fact, I was with some, with a friend of mine, and we've been so busy on this project with Facebook that it was a separate, not this Facebook, but something else, that I thought, man, did we miss something? Did something bad happen? But yeah, I don't listen to the news. See that negative stuff? I mean, you've heard people talk about it, right? Oh, you don't want any negative in your life. Get the positive in. I mean, if you don't have to like. I mean, it'd be easier to just wash everything away and just start fresh. But if you go no contact and maybe just won't watch TV instead of 2 hours a day, maybe watch it an hour a day, or maybe just watch it with the DVR where you can fast forward past the commercials and everything. And I definitely wouldn't listen to the news. There's nothing positive about it, especially with the elections going on. There's a lot of emotion that's stirred up that you may. Wow, loud thunder here. There's a lot of emotions in it that get stirred up with the elections, especially with the news cycle in general, but with the elections, I think it's even worse. So there's plenty of YouTube videos. If you're worried about there's nothing to do or nothing to see, what I did was I bought that Apple TV. It's like $80 or whatever, and then anything from my iPhone, and there's stuff I think with Google Chromecast, but you can play videos just like you would on your computer. You can play them out in your living room on your TV, and you can sit there and watch them and learn, and learn about different things. I mean, I don't watch everything about narcissism as much like I used to. I have a lot of different things. Eckhart Tolle, Eckhart Tolle. That's a great. That guy's great in terms of meditation and thinking about things and proper perspective. Taking thoughts that we have, and realizing that they're thoughts, and that thoughts will come in and they'll pass, just like a cloud rolling by. But what we tend to do is we tend to grab that thought, put it in our heads, and lock onto it. And that's not what he says. He says that you can look at thoughts as just what they are. They're just thoughts. When I have a thought about something, it's just a thought. It doesn't mean it's the truth. Oh, my narc he's never going to call me again or whatever. That's just a thought. I've read about no contact. I know that's what I'm supposed to do, so I'm not going to contact anymore. There's so many other people out there that want to be your friends that are healthier, that will enjoy you. They'll enjoy you for the new you. So build that, become that new you. Hang out with people that like that new you. And it doesn't have to, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's just going to happen little by little by little. It's going to build up on itself. So let me see. My ex did this, and he was drunk. The jokes and pranks were usually sexist, dirty, and insulting, often at your expense. Yeah, if somebody's making fun of you, self-respect. Just distance yourself from them. Say, look, if you say one more thing about me, it's like, I can't do this. This is not me. I mean, I just won't be around that. Just drop that person out of your life is what I'm saying. There's plenty of other people that will take their place, and you'll be in a much better position because these people will know you for the healthy you. That's the thing with changing friends. You can have more intimate, better friends if you're healthier than you could if you knew somebody 10 years, especially if they're narcissistic, right? I mean, that narcissistic person, say that you knew for 5 years, or that person that you dated for 10 years, or that you married. Do you really know that person? I mean, did you get shocked like I did after 20 years? The person I thought I knew turned out to be this horror story. Like, oh my God, this person was never really connected to me. There are healthier people that you can connect. There are healthy people that you can connect with intimately, and you can have great relationships. You can have deep, rich, colorful relationships. That empathy that the narc makes fun of, like, oh, you're feeling, well, you're so sensitive. That is actually, people value that. People like to be around people that have real feelings, that are genuine. That authenticity is so key. I'm serious. Oh, sorry guys. So let me see. Let me read some of your comments. No TV here either. Netflix and YouTube. Yep. Only watch TV with my grandson. Stuart Little. Oh, that's Stuart Little driving that car. He's got that car. He's driving all around the mouse hole and everything. On the point you just made on friendships changing, do you find many people stay lifelong friends, or also those who are fortunate enough to have lasting marriages only if they are emotionally healthy, or do you think it's just the random luck of the draw? That's a good question. So, on the point you just made about friendships changing, do you find many people stay lifelong friends only if they are emotionally healthy, or do you think just a random luck of the draw? Well, I can count the friends on my... Here's what I think about friendships, and this is my own personal experience. I think that if you have a friend, friendships that I know, and there's been two, as far as guys that I know, they've both been on more the narcissistic side. Not that they are narcissists, but they are... One guy's totally oblivious to his surroundings and has no respect for other people's time, and he uses that to control. He also had a very alcoholic upbringing. His dad was a major alcoholic. His dad died when he was 42. So I know there was a lot of emotions that the kid, my friend, never got. Kind of fell on deaf ears. And then my other friend was just, he's just, I don't know. So he was similar to that, but just, he's more narcissistic in different ways. I'm not going to say too much about him, but let's just say he's not the most faithful guy, okay? So, in his marriage. But as a friend, what I think has happened is we have a very cool relationship in that we can talk about things in an open way. But here's the difference. In both of these cases, there's a geographical distance. Okay? And I think that's important because I noticed that both of them, that if I live with one of them, I think it would be awful. I think our friendship would probably be over. But I think you can be with a narc if it's a friendship. Now, this is not an intimate relationship. This is not a lover or somebody that you're physically connected to, you know, as far as having sex or making love to or whatever you want to call it. But I think from a friendship standpoint, at least in my case, from what I've witnessed, is that I think if your friends can grow with you, like I know both of these guys have gone through a tremendous amount of growth, that I think that they'll stay with you. I think they'll stay friends with you. If you're growing and they're growing, and you're able to keep a somewhat open relationship about things, and plus it's history, right? Like I've known one guy for 40 years and another guy for 28 or 29 years. So I think if you have that time, so you have enough of a, like, see, what narcissists like to do is they like to create an illusion of who they are. But if you've known them a long time and you're still friends with them, then they know that you know, right? That you've already peeked behind the mask. So, and the other thing he feels is he feels safe because let's say he's in Denver, and I'm here in Dallas. He knows that I don't know who he hangs out at work. I don't know his circle of friends there. So I'm not going to say anything out of turn or say something that would affect him or his friends. And I also don't interact with his wife. So he can pretty much tell me a lot of things, and I can kind of give me my perspective of things because I have a different perspective than him. I have a more empathetic view, and we've discussed this. We've talked about this, and he even knows I'm doing this channel. He hasn't even asked me the name of the channel, which I don't feel he needs to know, and I think he knows that. But what's really cool is he's taking the information, but I think some of it, the way he works, is he's using some of the information to his advantage. You know, I mean, when my wife was having the affair, and I told him about how the iPad was under the seat, and I kind of knew where she was going, he says, "Oh, crap, I'll have to make sure she doesn't have an iPad under the seat." In other words, the woman he was having an affair with, who was also married, you know, he's using the information that I'm giving them to his advantage. He's a narcissist, right? Or he's narcissistic. I don't know if he's full MPD, but I get to like talk to him and have this relationship that's like arm's length. So I guess that's what I'm saying is because of there's always been a barrier there with him. There's always been either an occupational barrier because we work for different companies, or there's always been like a geographical barrier because we've been in different cities. So I think if you have that, and I think the other person continues to grow, and then you have that time with each other, so you've seen each other's kids grow, you've seen this, you can look back at this and remember this, and remember though, they're going to have different memories than you. They're going to have memories of how funny that thing was, and in their mind it was funny because you lost power. You know, you made a fool of yourself. And I can still look back on those and think how funny that was, how I made other people laugh at my expense. And it's cool because but we have different memories of it, but we still shared something together. So again, and I think it has to do with boundaries. I think you can actually have a good, healthy, you can have a healthy relationship with a narcissist if you have boundaries in place. Now, intimately, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend or whatever, I don't know. I don't think you can do that. I think you can do that. I think if you did that, it would be at your expense because you wouldn't have that downtime to kind of regroup, kind of just, not have the boundaries in place, not have the privacy that you need. So I'm going to read some more of your quotes here, your comments. You guys are talking about TV. Yep, no TV. Got it. So we're up to 15 people. That's okay, you joined late. We're still going. Hi, Jean. Sandra says, you experience true friendships in the hardest times. If they got your back, they are your friends. I lost a lot of so-called friends, but I got real good friends as well. Yeah, I think you can have that, but you just have to be aware, though, because this happened to my sister. her sister-in-law, her husband's sister. My sister went through a very hard time. I'm not going to say what happened, but my sister-in-law was there, or her sister-in-law was there to comfort her all the time, bring her food, cook for her, come over all the time. I mean, she was there. She was like the most helpful person. Is there anything you need? Is there anything I can get you? I mean, she was always out doing stuff for her. But when my sister got healthy a few months later and was kind of getting out on her own, the sister-in-law, like, didn't know what to do. Like, she kind of lost her role, and what we figured out when I talked to my sister about it, and today they don't speak, okay? This happened 15 years ago, and they still don't really speak. My sister, by the way, has very healthy boundaries. And what happened was, as my sister got healthier, this other girl still wanted to control her, be like I'm up here and you're down here. You're really sad and sorrowful, and I'm a great person because I'm up here and you're down here. And that was the same pattern this girl had over and over again, where she would kind of latch on to people that were in bad circumstances. She was always there for them, but only to kind of suck in the narcissistic supply is what I didn't tell my sister this, but that's kind of what I kind of thought in my head, like, why, what happened. I kind of explained it to my sister that basically she feels good. She feels superior to you and feels really good about herself. She genuinely feels really good about herself when you're feeling like crap, and she can kind of like be there to witness it. Like, yeah. Because my sister's very pretty, and this other girl, her sister-in-law, is not very pretty. I mean, just a lot of things. So I think there was some jealousy and envy there. And when my sister was knocked down because of a life event that she had, the sister-in-law just kind of took over, And of course, she's getting all the supply, and everyone's saying how great she is. Oh, you're taking care of her. And even my sister's like, oh, thank you so much for coming over and doing all this for me. You didn't have to. And she's like, oh, no, sweetie, I'd love to. I'd do this anytime for you. But she's really doing it for her. So I would say that, you just have to really you have to really just kind of pay attention, I think, to see who your real friends are. Because real friends want you to be healthier. They want to see you grow. They want to see you get better. Even if it means that they might feel a little bit bad about themselves. Like, for an example, there's a friend of mine who became very successful, like multimillionaire from nothing. But, he took his 401k and basically turned it into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. And he's it was tough being around him because, he's buying new cars, but he's like, hey, let's go do this. We'd go out and he purchased like this Jeep that was like a MW3 or something. It was like from a video game or something, a model of this Jeep, like a real live Jeep, big tires, big old things. And he'd take me out and we go driving it on this place you can rent by the hour, and you just drive up hills and almost flip the Jeep over. And a couple times we had to pull ourselves out with the tow rope in it. But he just likes doing that. But for a while it was tough for me. Like, if I wasn't a real friend of his, I would have let that kind of get in the way of seeing him be more successful. And but it does get. In that case, it was kind of hard to associate with. I'm going through all these things where I'm actually going the opposite way. My narc and I are losing our businesses, and he's doing all this. But he's not trying to. He's not trying to rub it in or anything. And so we're still friends, but it's just different. I think so. My point is that true friends will want to see you get better. Like, I wanted to see him get more successful. It's even if it meant that I was feeling different from him. It's still better to see somebody live their dreams and do what they want, because that means I can. If I'm around people that can do that, then maybe I can do that too. So. Some people like you when you are down. That is correct. Hey, Jersey Steph. The good friendships are supportive during the good and the bad. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Chris, you guys are, and one other are my only friends and my kids. Chris, I totally got you, man. I totally totally understand that completely. Because what see what happens, and I think Chris is kind of going through the same thing where, you know, I'm going through a divorce, or I went through one actually. It's all done, but you know, I lost a ton of friends because I lost my married friends for the most part because I'm not a married guy anymore. Now I'm a single guy coming over there hanging out with them and their kids. That's weird. And of course, if you're with a narcissist in your life, they're smearing you behind your back. They're doing the setup before you even know what happened, right? They're like saying, "Oh, I'm worried about him. He's this or he's that." So they're actually doing all this stuff to you behind your back, like what happened to me. And then, like I was being set up so many different ways, and that smear campaign. Don't want to be around a smear campaign. Don't want to be around near that again. So, but fist bump, brother. This is for her. This is for you too. This is a fist bump. Yeah, man. I mean, and it's cool to have these friends online here, right? Like, I mean, there's real people, right? That's what the cool thing about Facebook Live is, that you can actually see real people now. They're not just like little profiles and little, you know, things on a page. Now they're actually real people here. And I like to see more of you guys. So I'm trying to remember that as well. If the people I know can do well, maybe I can do well support. Yep. So yeah, guys. So I'm here in Dallas. It's nice and cool for a change. It's raining. I don't know if you can see the rain coming down here. It's really nice and just relaxing. Now it's Friday. It's about 5 or 6, I think. I don't know. Maybe it's 3 or 4. I don't know. I don't have my time on here, but I just wanted to share that with you, kind of set the mood. Kind of a very introspective, kind of reflective moment. And that's the other thing too, right? Sometimes we can be in our heads too much, reading all this stuff. But I would say that I almost did this in doses. Like I would read something and then put the book down and then do something else, and then subconsciously it would kind of like soak in there for a little while, and then the next day it would be like. So I was talking about things where I would read something and then let it soak in there for a day or for a couple hours, and then come back to it again. That helped me a lot. And like I said, being thankful every morning, even when I didn't feel very thankful, just thankful for what I had. Like I would wake up in a bed every morning and like have a place to go and have something to eat. And I mean, you got to be thankful for the little things, because honestly, to rebuild myself, I had to strip away everything that I thought I knew. I had to just surrender, right? I don't know if you've heard of that, but just surrender, just the thoughts I had, the values that I had. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, you know, this isn't really working out because I seem to be attracting these people in my life that seem to like, don't give a flip about me, that take advantage of me. So why is that happening? Why am I attracting these people? Oh, maybe I need to change. Oh. But I'm fine. I mean, I'm a nice, normal person. I mean, people like me, you know? Oh, maybe I really do need to change. Maybe I'm projecting this mentality that is sick. Maybe there's things I'm denying that are really down in there, and that maybe I need to look at them and then get those up so I don't feel like I'm ashamed of them or something. Maybe I need to get some stuff out and talk to somebody. That's kind of what I went through, guys, is I had to really just start rebuilding from scratch. But it's great because, like I was saying before, like you don't lose you. You just rebuild on top of the good parts that you already have. You see, you have empathy. You have empathy. They would kill to have that empathy. Narcs don't have empathy. They want that. They see other people around them like smiling and like just just having a good time together. And they're not gaining anything from each other. Like, how can they be so happy together? She's not getting something from her, and they don't have that. You have that. So you can build on that foundation. And here you get to use that. Here you get to use your empathy skills. You get to help other people. You get to feel other people's things. New people come in. They don't know which way's up, you know, and then you've been here a few months, and then you can say, hey, it's all right, you know, you get through it. Go no contact, you can do it. And so you can build on that empathy. You can build on that foundation of who you are, because who you are really is a good person. If you're in here and you're talking, you're in this group, you are a good person, okay? Even if you've been told you're a piece of shit, you're a good person. Because the person that told you you're a piece of shit, okay, think about this, how funny this is, because the person telling you there's something wrong with you or there's something bad about you, think about that logically. Why, if that person's saying something that something's wrong with you, you're really an awful person. If you're so awful, then why are they hanging around with you? Why are they hoovering you? Why are they trying to get with you? What does that say about them? I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's just like the logic of this. These people are not logical. I mean, humans are emotional beings as it is, but narcissists take emotions to a new degree. Their emotions run them. Their emotions of envy and jealousy, and they wrap logic. They take these. They wrap this pretend logic around stuff, and you try to make sense of it, and it doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense. Okay, Arthur, if you're there, I want you to quote this. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. I think whatever I just said, they are pieces of shit. Yeah. And here's the thing, they know they're pieces of shit deep down, like way deep down, like from 5 years old. They know that the person the false self that they built is really a horrendous person, right? So they're constantly trying to connect and correct. They're trying to connect to you, but they can't. So they correct you. They say, well, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm the best. They build up themselves because they ain't got nothing. They ain't got a real self. They ain't got a real self. The real self has been buried, so they have to create the illusion. Oh, I'm glad you looked at my profile. Was able to answer. Georgie's here. Hi, Georgie. Hi, Georgie. Look, I'm not driving. Hands free, baby. Woohoo. No steering wheel. Okay. Good. I've got my resident stenographer, Arthur Fields here. Arthur Fields here, reporting from Mexico City. Okay. So Lori's here. Lori says, yeah, it's like if I'm so bad, then why do they keep calling me and keep telling me I'm wrong? I mean, think about that. If somebody says you're this awful person, but then they keep coming back to you, what does that say about them? Don't you think they might be a little messed up? It'd be like me if I went to a restaurant and I ordered the tomato soup, and each time I took a bite of it, there's like a marble in it. I'm like, God, this is awful. There's a marble here. I'm not gonna, And I tell them that this restaurant is so bad, I'm never coming back here again. And then the next day I go back. Sir, I thought well, your restaurant's so bad, but I'm going to get the tomato soup again. They would look at you like you're crazy. That's what the narc does. The narc says that you're this awful person, or they rag on somebody, but then they're like right next to them the next day. They're taking pictures with them, doing selfies with them, with this person that they just were ragging on. I thought you hated him. Whatever. Genuine people aren't like that. Real people don't do that. Healthy people don't do that. Healthy people only do healthy things, right? Yeah, and that's the thing with them is they can't take accountability, they can't take responsibility, because that's what the narcissist. I don't know if you guys have realized that, and I've talked about this before, but they live a life of denial. They deny their true selves. They try every which way they can to not take accountability, responsibility for anything, because if they do and they're wrong, oh my God, the world will end. If they're wrong, they can't be wrong. They always have to be right. So think about it. How am I going to be wrong if I never gave you a firm commitment on something? I can't be wrong, right? And you and me? Oh, no, we're locked down and nailed down on everything. Well, you know, Narc says, are you going to be here at 4? Yeah, I'll be here at 4. And I used to say. 4:05 shows up. You're late. I can't believe you said you. Okay, I'm sorry I'm late, you know. Don't say I'm sorry. Now, if it's with another person and you're genuinely late, like just instead of saying I'm sorry, like if you guys say you're sorry a lot, like first of all, try to eliminate that. But if you do say you're sorry, say I apologize. That sounds so much better than I'm sorry. Just say, hey, look, I really apologize for what happened. I'm making a change to that. I'm going to leave a little bit earlier next time. So that's the thing. So they're never wrong. Yeah, they're never wrong. So they have narc speak, and narc speak is you try to get them. You try to get a commitment out of them. So if you said the same thing to them, like, hey, are you going to be there at 4? I'll be there when I can. Or, hey, are you gonna be there at 4? I'll be there. I told you I'd be there. Okay, but are you gonna be there at 4? Oh my God, would you just? I'm gonna be there. Look, I'm going over to Dave's, and as soon as I'm done with Dave's, I'm gonna come over there. Are you gonna be? What? Yeah. What do you think? Are you gonna be there at 4? Look, the more you ask that question to them, you try to nail them down. You try to pinpoint them down. You try to like make them accountable. Then they blame it in your. Now watch. Now it turns back onto you. But are you going to be there for? Oh my God! Would you just stop asking me questions? You're always asking me questions about stuff. Why can't I just have some peace and quiet? Oh my God! Why do you have to know everything? The day will happen as it happens. Okay? You ever have that? Sucks. Because if you try to get a commitment, which normal people do, like if you go to an office or you work somewhere, when you're around healthier coworkers. Life just flows. You say, hey, are we going to close up at 4 today? Yeah, I have us on the schedule at 4. Boom. You close up at 4. Everything's done. You don't even think about it, right? Then you go home to your narc. And this is, again, using time as an example. And you say, hey, are we going to go out at 8? Did I say we'd go out at 8? No, but I thought a couple days ago we were talking about going out, and there's an 8:05 movie. Do you want to go out and see this movie tonight? You know what? Let me think about it. Or, well, that's a bad example, but something that they don't like being pinned down. They don't like being committed to something. They always have to have the wiggle room. I think they would make great lawyers. All of them are probably great lawyers because you can never quite pin them down on anything. They always have an excuse. They'll always like deflate. What was it? Deflect, deny. I never said that. Or deflect. No, actually, that's not what I was talking about. You know, change the subject. Put it back on you. The boomerang thing. Like ask you a question. You know. Hey, do you want to go out at 8? Why would I want to do that? Well, I thought you wanted to go out. You're ridiculous. Walk away. And they'll walk away too. That used to bug me. She'd just walk out of the room. They don't like being cornered, folks, because what happens is when they're accountable, when they have to actually admit to something, when the facts can't be denied, when it's all there, that means they're wrong. And remember, they have a fragile ego. They have a false self. The false self is not like a real self, a true self. The true self can handle it. The true self is a loving, empathetic being. The false self is egotistical, just, has to be right, has to have things their way, has to create the illusion, has to control the illusion. They have to control an illusion because they have to make an illusion because the real selves are pieces of shit. So they have to basically dress up a piece of shit. They have to put whipping cream and frosting over like a crusty old, like withered up piece of dog shit that's been left out for 6 months, that's turned into powdered sugar donut looking crusty with hair wrapping out of it. They're, okay, I'm sorry if you guys are eating. They're putting frosting over it, and they're sprinkling it with those little confetti things, confetti flakes, making it look really pretty, and then they put a little candle on it, And then they tell you, happy birthday, and I'm so glad we're together, And underneath, though, they're just pieces of shit. They really are. They really are. Now, truth be told, that's how I thought for the longest time after I figured out who my ex was. She was a piece of crap. Okay? That was the truth then. Now, because of where I'm at, and I know a lot of you guys aren't there yet. Now I look back, and she's just a sick person. I'm a sick person, but she just has a different sickness than I do, and that's okay now. That's the point I'm at now. The resentments, if there's any there, if they crop up, I let them go. I address them. But when she texts me or something, I still kind of look at the behavior, and I'm so turned off and repulsed by the behavior now that I know what healthy is. You'll be too. If you go no contact with them or stay low contact or gray rock, you will get to the point where anything they do just repulses you. It's like, even if they want something simple, it's like, I always look for the meaning behind it. Like anyone else, my healthy friends, I don't try to see, okay, are they doing this here? I don't have to do a flow chart with normal people. With her, I have to do a flow chart. Okay, what is she wanting here? If I say yes, does she really want me to say no so she can do this? And it sucks being with these people. Your mind will be, it's so much more at ease with real, normal, healthy people. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You come down to see me at Billy Bob, Texas, we're going to give you the best, healthiest ego you can get. Our egos are only $49.99, and if you order today, you can get yours free. You can get a free one, and we'll ship it to you, and we'll give you the piece of dog crap that you were talking about earlier, Josh. There about we'll throw some frosting in with it too. Guys, I'm just trying to be funny. Okay. They are never wrong. You're right. Of course I'm right. I'm never wrong. No. Unaware they are being trashed is like, I want to tell them, do you realize how awful she talks about you? But they refuse to believe or see the truth. Of course. See, the truth is not important to them. That took me a long time to realize. The truth doesn't matter to them. In fact, the truth is actually more of a threat. What they are more concerned about is with something they can control. You can't control the truth. I mean, the truth is the truth, but you could control people's perception of the truth. Well, why did you go out earlier? Well, I was thinking of the kids. I wanted to go pick them some milk up on the way to the boyfriend's house. The perception of what their actions are. If I do something, I punch a guy in the face. I go over here, I see this guy, I punch a guy in the face. Why, but if I can show people that I thought he was going to rob me, or I thought he had a gun, well, that changes your perception of why I punched him in the face. But if I just punched him in the face because I felt insulted by him and he made fun of my car, it's different. It's the perception of what they do. The truth doesn't matter to them. The truth to a narcissist is whatever they can get you to believe it is. Okay? I played a game with my ex of, would you believe this story? Would you believe this story? In a 5-minute time span, I had 4 different versions of what happened with a certain event. And I had documentation. In fact, I had it in my hand. And I just held up in my hand. And each time she gave me a version of what happened, I'd say, really? So you're telling me, and I repeat back to her what she said. And this is when I had some strength, okay? It's not very common that I had strength around her, because they're used to dominating, and I'm used to being dominated around a narcissist. But that one time that I had that strength, and I held that documentation up, it said, what is it? And I repeat back to her what she said. And she said, well, okay, she kept changing the story. Okay, well, would you believe we just went to the hotel room just to talk? It's like, oh, so a moment ago you said it was just you that went to the hotel room. You got it for yourself. And now you're saying he was there, but nothing happened. Okay, well, Why couldn't you go on to Starbucks or something to talk? I'm just saying, it'd be cheaper than $120, just to talk. Starbucks, some Starbucks are open late, or you could go to, I don't know. Anyways, but you see what I mean about how the illusion is everything to these people. Everything. See, you and I, we're kind of like, we like dealing in open, honest, collaborative communication. They don't like that because they're threatened by that, because they don't have a real, true person to reveal to you. In fact, if you get too close to them, they'll back off. They will back off. I remember having like some of the best, some really, I was married for 21 years, and there'd be some nights that we'd have some very intimate, evenings together where, we're going pretty hot and heavy, and the next morning I'm feeling really good, and it was pretty much like clockwork. About the day after that night, after that great night, she'd pick a fight. And it would be about anything. Like, the Pop-Tarts have high fructose corn syrup in them. I can't believe you got those, And it was just like, I started noticing a pattern. And it was, what she was doing was the fear of intimacy, of me being that close to her, even though I was married to her, and I'd been married to her for, at that point, decades, or a decade or more. So I'm thinking, I know you, right? I know it, I want to be close to you. You're my wife. I want to be as intimate as I can. I want to be every part of you. It's ordained and everything. This is who we are. And so, but they don't think like that, because they still have that self that they don't want you to see. They don't want you to see this over here. No, look at me. Don't look. Oh, is that your? No, they don't. Sorry, folks. I got a phone call. Put it on hold. So that's the thing. They don't want you to. They're ashamed of that part. And what's happened is, see, here's the thing. What's happened with them? What's happened is they are so afraid that you're going to see that. They are afraid of it themselves, that they have stuffed it down. They have denied their true selves for so long that they don't even know who their real self is. But they just know that it's this terrible, shameful thing that they don't want exposed. So they have to build this illusion. They can't be themselves. And, if you're not yourself, it's really easy to pretend to be someone else. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, instead of saying I'm sorry, say, oh, hey man, I really apologize for that. It sounds so much nicer. It sounds like you really mean it too. Josh Penn, now that you mentioned what they tell us, we're full of shit. Realizing that narcs actually punish us for not fulfilling their sick, twisted expectations has been a life changer. Good point, Arthur. Very good point. They treat us like crap, cheat, lie, ignore our feelings and positive traits because we are not actually what they expect us to be. Well, it's an illusion. They live this fantasy. In fact, they put us on a pedestal. You can almost call it that love bombing. They want us to be a certain way too, because they project onto us that we're kind of like their parent. I know that gets into a whole different topic, but they're like children, okay? And you are like the solid one, like the parent. Even though you don't feel like it, you feel like they're your parent. And in some ways, that's kind of how it is. Like you ever heard like, oh, I married my mother, or like we will, because of the way we were raised, we are comfortable being treated a certain way by a certain parent, and we will end up marrying that, even if it's not healthy. It's not healthy, but it may be comfortable. The comfort may outweigh the we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. We look at something that may be really destructive for us, but if we're comfortable with it, we don't know it's destructive. That's why the self-awareness and really getting to know who you are, getting to know your boundaries, setting boundaries, getting to know the real you, and then building on that, I think is really key. Oh my God, he was making me apologize all the time. And he was always running late. Yeah. And they make you feel like you're the one always running late. It's part of the illusion. You can't get a straight answer out of them, correct. Oh wow, I really kind of catch up here on the comments. Hey Sarah. Yes, they always have an ulterior motive. Reason for calling or texting. Yeah, you have to think, they do, because they're trying to, they do little scripts, right? They have little, see, when you and I are sitting there and relaxing and thinking, what we're going to make for dinner tomorrow, or what we're going to go get the kids or whatever, they're constantly scheming. They don't have a true false self, or they don't have a true real self to really feel good about themselves and do this. So they're always scheming, like, how am I going to get my next fix, right? Narcissistic supply. How am I going to get my next fix? So they will actually plan these things in their head about how they're going to, for your birthday party tomorrow, they're going to like, oh my God, they're going to forget to go to the store, or they're going to get you the wrong cake on purpose, and just to see you just like get really disappointed. Yeah, that's going to be great, because it's the whole power up relationship, power over. That's what I meant, power over. They want to have power over you, power over you, power over you. Look at this, my fist. Look at my muscle. Yeah, they want to have power over you. Remember, to a narcissist, it's all about power and control. So if they have power over you, they feel good. That's what makes them feel good. You want to make them feel good? Make them feel powerful. Be a slave to them. Go to your narc and say, I'll do anything for you, and be prepared to do anything they want. Even if it's something you've said, I'm never going to do that, I don't go that way, honey, or that's just not, do whatever they want. They will feel so good. You'll make them feel so good. You'll be their slave. Now, that's to make them feel good. At your expense. You would be much worse. They would be better for a period of time. You would be slowly degraded. You would be slowly losing yourself by being somebody's slave. They have no boundaries, folks. And if you have no boundaries, they will take and take and take and take. They will constantly take. Go in, the gate's wide open. I'm going to go in and I'm going to suck the life out of you. Yep. So that's what I'm saying. That's why you don't want to be around them. They're not good for you. They're only happy when you're not. Not a good deal. So, okay, breathing some, anxiety, feeling a bit fragile, but I'm in a safe, loving company. I just got the book, Complex PTSD. Good deal. That's supposed to be a really good book. I've read parts of it online. I actually bought it, but I haven't read all of it. And I saw Richard Grannon do a video on it. So, good book. Narcs are the worst people. Mine has a huge ego, is super selfish, and already knows what to say or do to get me to do. Yeah, that's the thing, Stephanie. They know you. I would venture to say that they know our weaknesses better than we know them. They know our vulnerabilities better than we know our vulnerabilities. Why? Why would somebody else want to know my vulnerabilities? You ever thought, why? They want to know how to control you. Self-survival to them is all about the illusion. The illusion is what they have control over. But to get control over the illusion, they have to make people see it. So they have to control you to act a certain way, to see them in a certain way. And for the public, they have to make you be a certain way. You can't be you. You have to look perfect all the time. Well, they can do whatever they want, but you have to be perfect. You have to do things a certain way. If they can't, they're not organized, or they can't do bills or anything, you have to be able to do that. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. You're the problem. You're not organized. You see how that works? So they have to have power and control over you. So they know your vulnerabilities, because if I can get you to cry in 2 seconds, that's power. My God, that's powerful. I know a secret about you. Think about this. Say I knew the secret about you. And your secret is this. Your secret is that when somebody taps you on your left knee with their finger, it reminds you of a traumatic event that happened where you fell through some ice back when you were in kindergarten. And when they tried to rescue you, they had to hold on to your knee for 5 hours. Okay, I'm just making this up, okay? So if I know that about you and that was a traumatic event, guess what I'm going to go for? When I'm not getting my way, I'm going to tap that knee, boom, tap that knee, boom, and you're going to comply because you're going to do whatever you're doing, and then you're going to go into this state, this trauma, this pain, this memories are going to flash back of that ice and everything, all that traumatic things that happen, and you're going to be compliant with me. You're going to do whatever I tell you to do because you want to get rid of the pain. So you're looking at me like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Well, if you would just be more organized, that would help. I want you to clean that whole thing up there. Okay. And you don't even know what happened. They know your vulnerabilities. They wanted to control you to be able to project this illusion that you're organized. So that when they go out in the public, whatever it is, my point is that they know your vulnerabilities. They study your vulnerabilities. While we're out just thinking we're having a good time, just relaxing, they're like 3D chess. They are just thinking, checking you out, seeing your reaction to stuff. You know, oh, I saw them when I mentioned their father. They got this look on their face that wasn't happy. Ooh, there must be some juicy stuff there. You know, that's how they think, people. They don't think like us. They don't think normal. They hate it when you uncover the truth. They'd rather you stay quiet. Yep. Well, here's the thing. What do they do if the truth gets out? What do they do if they sense that you're catching on to them? What do they do? Anybody remember? Smear campaign. Yeah, that's what the smear campaign's for. It's to discredit you. Remember, it's not you. They're discrediting you because you have information on them, usually something called truth, about their behavior that they don't want to come out. So they have to discredit you so that when you do mention this truth, that when you do go public with it, nobody will listen to you. Nobody will listen to you. Then that way, the narcissist illusion is still intact. It's safe. Because if you don't have any credit with anybody, if nobody really wants to be around you because, oh, she's got mental problems, you know, you don't want to listen to her. Yeah, she's mentioning something about, she thinks I'm cheating on her. What a crazy broad. Smear. They're smearing you. You have no credit. You have no credibility. Well, that's what they want. And in their head, they've got it all mapped out. Boy, if I smear him here, if I go up to Bob here at work and say something about her, and that's going to discredit her, you know, they're not going to think. They're already scheming this in their head months in advance sometimes. They're preparing because they've learned this from childhood, from traumatic things in childhood. For them, trauma is when they're exposed, when their true selves are exposed, when they're laughed at, when they're made fun of, when they're told they're wrong, when they're humiliated. Okay, we can be humiliated and we can get over it. Why? We have a real, true self. You know, maybe our self isn't the healthiest self, but we have a true self that's not buried under a pile of denial. They don't have it. They have nothing. So they don't have anything to rest upon. They can't defend themselves. They have to defend the illusion. The illusion is all they have. The illusion is all they have. So they have to make sure that the illusion is intact. They don't have a real self. No, they do. It's just really, it's like that big, really buried down there. So I'm going to look here some more. Yeah, Pop-Tarts aren't good for you, I know. They're really bad, but they're so good. They taste so good. It's my one vice. Yep, a fight after sex. Somebody can be able to, I was talking about have the best romantic love-making night of my life with her, and everything's great, and there's even tears involved, and oh my gosh. And then like clockwork, next day, every day, or every time after the next day after the great lovemaking event, it would be Fight City, Ding, ding, ding. And in this corner, Wayne, 170 or 145 pounds, the dog. Ding, 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 ding. And in this corner, coming off of a romantic relationship from a night he thought was the best night of his life, the empath. Ding, 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 ding. What? I'm in a fight? Yeah, I'm the empath. Like, what? I didn't know it was going to be a fight. I thought everything was great. I thought everything was great. If you expose the truth, not their truth, it's a scary world for them. They shrivel up in fear and lose control. Yep, the very control they must have for survival. That's how they survive. We survive by getting healthy, by knowing who we really are. We nurture our true self. That's how we get healthier. That's how we survive. We have a true self to go back to. It's there. It never was denied like the narcs. But we just abused the shit out of it for the longest time. We really have. We've allowed it to be abused. You know? Because we didn't have any boundaries. We didn't have very strong boundaries. Well, if he cheated on me, I would leave him in a heartbeat. Well, yeah, but you know, the thing is, the narcs are smart. They got finance with you, they got a house with you, they got kids with you. It's not that easy to just walk away from it. They know that commitment level. They want to lock you down. Because then if they lock you down and you see behind the mask, you ain't got nowhere to go, baby. That's what their thinking is. Of course, they want to keep the illusion up as long as they can, but they know eventually it's going to fail. They know eventually you're going to see right through them. They know that because they know it from history. It always happens to them. It always catches up with them, because the narcs push for more and more and more. They're like a junkie. They're going to start selling. You know, they're breaking in and selling car stereos. Then the next thing they know, they're going in their grandmother's purse and stealing out her thing and going looking for, you know, stuff that they would never think they would ever do, but they're hooked. And the narc is hooked on narc supply. They have to have more of it to feel good, to feel better. They can regulate it, and that's the thing, is that's what their harem does. That's what the flying monkeys do. Helps the narc regulate their supply. Narc tells the flying monkeys they're great. Flying monkeys tell the narc, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Everybody's happy. The narc really thinks they are, because these other people think they are. See, that's the thing with them. Their true self is not a true self. It's like I was saying earlier, it's a false self. But their false self is powered by illusion. Powered by illusion. In other words, if you put a narc in a room, like in a cell, all by himself or herself, they are awful. They are so miserable. Why? Because their false self is powered by, let me add something. Their false self is powered by illusion. The illusion from others. You can't have an illusion going on. Let me try to make sense of this. You can't have an illusion going on if you don't have others to prop up the illusion. That's called delusion, right? You can be delusional in your own head and think you're something, but the narc knows that that's not real. But if they can get others to believe them, that becomes the truth. Like I said earlier, the truth doesn't matter. It's the illusion that matters. This is the truth. Whatever I can swirl, whatever I can potion you and mesmerize you with. I'm this great lover, I know how to do this, and I'm all this. If I can do that, you think I'm great. Even though I know deep down, sometimes when I'm all alone, when I'm locked inside that prison cell, when there's nobody around me, if I'm the narc, then I freak out, because I know that I'm not powered by that illusion. If I'm alone and there's no way to get people around me to power that illusion, I'm freaking out big time if I'm a narcissist. Now, regular people or empaths like yourself, we can spend time by ourselves and be fine, because we have a true self. We have who we are. call it a connection through God or whatever you want to call it. We have a spiritual being. We have that. We have a connection with that. They don't have that. They don't have that. And they're mesmerized when other people have it. They're just, they want that so bad. They want it really bad. And they try to emulate it. Oh, they try so hard, but they just don't have it. I mean, if you know, it's like a robot trying to be a human being. You're a robot. You don't have a real heart. You don't know what feelings are. You don't know what true empathy is. Which, by the way, is what love is based on. Love, part of love is empathy, I believe. So if you don't have any empathy, you're never really going to love. So think about that. But don't feel sorry for them, okay? They just don't have that in them. They want that. They want to be like everybody else. I mean, think about going to another country and they speak a different language and you're walking around the streets and you're trying to fit in, but you don't really know the customs and this is kind of weird, and you notice that people will take 2 steps forward and then like jump up and down twice and then walk again. And so you're like, okay, well, I guess this is how I fit in here. So you walk and then you jump up and down and then you continue to walk, and you're just trying to fit in. You don't understand. You don't understand the culture. After you've been there a while, though, you start to learn, and then you see them laughing, but you don't understand the language. So you're like, I don't know why they're laughing, but I'm going to laugh with them, and you know, and I'm going to jump up and down real high because I'm going to show them I'm the best jumper up and jumper down or whatever. But it's that's how it is to them. And after a while, though, it becomes so good, it becomes such a part of them that they don't know any difference. They think that that's how life is. Life is just one big show. Life is one big illusion. And you're putting on an illusion, and you are, and you are, and you are. They don't realize that people are real around them. They do sometimes. Like I said, when they can connect with their true self, with that true self, when they connect with that, then they realize, shit, I'm full of shit. Like they're this big false self, and then they see other people, and that scares them to death because that's all that denial, all that shame and everything that they're stuffing down. That's kind of when it comes up, but it doesn't come up that much. And the older they get, the more they stuff it down, and the more miserable they get because their illusions aren't working anymore. That youthful beauty that they had when they were 25, well, now they're like 55, and they're trying to bat their eyes and everything and trying to use their sex appeal. And it looks ridiculous, and it's not working. They're not getting that supply. Now, most mature, healthy people, looks aren't everything, but to the narc, that's what they relied on. And that's more the somatic type of narcissism. More where they rely on the body. These guys at the gym that are constantly working out, you know, 5 hours a day. But that's the thing with them, is that they get worse with age. So. And then they're alone in a you know, they're wheeled over in the corner in their wheelchair, sitting there at the nursing home. Nobody wants to be around them. They don't play games with the other people because they don't know how to get along. They don't have a true self. Where, you know, if you're a healthy 55-year-old, you realize it's not about looks. It's about empathy. It's about caring. And, you know, as you get older, that stuff grows. Your heart grows. You become more empathetic. You think about other people more, especially if you have kids and grandkids or whatnot. You begin to see the big picture of stuff. Or you, at least in my case, I know that is for me. I'm more about my kids now than I'm about me. But I'm still about me. Yeah. So, we got a lot of people here. Yeah, guys, these people want to ruin you.